Hey guys, welcome to my channel. And for the past 20 years, I've covered everything from cybersecurity, privacy, surveillance, artificial intelligence, hacking, and just about anything that plugs into the internet. So let me explain the concept behind this career path series. It's very simple. The objective is to give you a glimpse into different types of jobs in the cybersecurity field. Now, many people, when they think of cybersecurity, their minds immediately go to those Hollywood blockbuster movies like Die Hard, where all you need is a basement with a computer and some pizza, and you can save the world by yourself. In reality, though, cybersecurity is not unlike any other industry in that it takes all types of roles to make it work. For example, do you know that it actually takes over 350,000 workers to run the New York City Marathon? It takes people from setting up courses to water stations to first aid to marketing and everything else in between. Well, cybersecurity is similar in that we have jobs ranging from sales engineers, software developers, forensic analysts, incident response, and the list goes on and on. Now, I know many of you watching this right now are considering a career in cybersecurity or maybe even transitioning into it. So hopefully this series will help demystify what it's like working in the field and help set realistic expectations. This first episode of Career Path focuses on cybersecurity analysts. If you didn't know, there's actually many types of cybersecurity analysts. There's network security analysts, cloud security analysts, application security analysts, digital forensics, incident response, and I could keep going on and on. But today we'll be focusing on network security analysts. Network security analysts are responsible for monitoring networks to detect any suspicious activity, detecting vulnerabilities, and making sure systems are protected against cyber threats. There was a study done by CyberSeek.org that found that there were over 700,000 unfilled cybersecurity jobs in the United States alone, and that number continues to grow. One reason for that shortage is because it's difficult to find candidates who have both the technical skills as well as soft skills necessary to pass an interview. As a hiring manager, how would you feel if someone breaks into your system and steals your data? Of course you would be upset. You would want to hold whoever was responsible accountable. That's why it's critical that these cybersecurity analysts have both hard and soft skills. Not only do they need to understand networking operating systems, programming languages, and the various tools that are used for penetration testing, vulnerability analysis, and incident response, but they also have to be able to communicate effectively with non-technical folks. Let's say the chief financial officer of a company comes up to you and says, "I hear we had a security incident. What's the status?" How are you going to respond to him or her without making them feel that you're incompetent? These are things that you need to consider if you're looking at becoming a cybersecurity analyst. Before we dive into the typical day in the life of a cybersecurity analyst, it would be helpful for you to know the various types of companies that hire cybersecurity analysts. Now, the obvious ones might be companies in the tech space like Microsoft or Google or Apple, but there are actually quite a few. Take the retail industry, for example. Do you remember last Christmas when many retailers had their websites defaced by a group of hackers known as the New World Hackers? Well, each one of those retailers needed cybersecurity analysts to investigate the incident, remediate it, and then put countermeasures in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. Same thing applies to the finance sector. Did you know that JP Morgan Chase was hit by a cyber attack that affected 76 million customers? When something like that happens, they need people to investigate what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and implement security controls to make sure it doesn't happen again. Let's talk about a typical day in the life of a cybersecurity analyst. Now, keep in mind that every company is different, so your responsibilities may vary widely depending on the type of organization that you work for. For example, if you work for a large enterprise, you might be assigned to a specific team based on the area that you're responsible for. So you could be on the endpoint team, the network team, the cloud team, and so forth. However, if you work for a startup, you might not have that luxury. Instead, you may be responsible for everything from incident response, vulnerability management, penetration testing, you name it. A typical day for a cybersecurity analyst at a large enterprise might look like this. Let's say you get a call from one of the engineers saying, "Hey, we had a user who was trying to log into the system and they couldn't. Is there something going on?" You tell them, "No, I haven't made any changes." Then the engineer says, "Well, okay, but maybe you did. Can you check the logs and see if you've made any changes?" Then you go to your ticketing system and open up a ticket to investigate the issue. Then after that, You might review some alerts from your various security tools like firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and then you might take some time to run a vulnerability scan on your systems to make sure that they fully patched. Then let's say it's Friday afternoon and you get a call from your manager saying, "Hey, we had a user who received a phishing email. Can you take a look?" So you go and investigate and you determine that yes, it is in fact a phishing email. You tell your manager and he says, "Great, thanks. I'll let the user know." So your day starts off pretty slow, but it picks up towards the end of the day. If you're looking to become a cybersecurity analyst, here are the top 3 skills that you need to learn. First is your technical skills. This includes understanding how networks work, operating systems, programming languages, and various tools that are used for penetration testing, vulnerability analysis, incident response, and the list goes on and on. Secondly is your communication skills. Remember earlier when I talked about how important it is to communicate with non-technical folks? Well, that's where your communication skills come in. You need to be able to communicate technical concepts in a way that non-technical people understand. Finally is your problem-solving skills. One of the most important aspects of being a cybersecurity analyst is the ability to solve problems. Take incident response, for example. You get called in the middle of the night and told that the company's been hacked. How are you going to react? Are you going to panic? Are you going to stay calm and collected and figure out the best way to remedy the situation? This is why having strong problem-solving skills is essential. Here is a quick quiz you can take to see if you would be good at being a cybersecurity analyst. Question number 1. What does the term hacking mean to you? Does it mean using your computer to illegally gain access to someone else's system, or does it mean finding creative ways to solve problems? Question number 2. Your boss asks you to install a security tool on all computers that run Windows 10. What do? Do you blindly comply, or do you ask questions like why that operating system and not others? Question number 3. You're reworking on a project and you need to interface with a team member whose role is outside of IT. How do you ensure successful collaboration? Do you focus solely on the technical aspects of the project, or do you take a more holistic approach? To answer number 1. The correct answer is that hacking means finding creative ways to solve problems. Although the definition of hacking in general means using your computer to gain unauthorized access to another system, in the cybersecurity world, it means finding creative ways to solve problems. For example, if you were locked out of your car, you might use a wire hanger to pop the door open. That's hacking. As for number 2, the correct answer is to ask questions like, why that operating system and not others? Even though you might be eager to please your boss, it's important to ask questions to make sure you're doing the right thing. After all, installing a security tool on all computers that run Windows 10 might inadvertently affect the functionality of certain applications. It is your responsibility as a cybersecurity analyst to understand the implications of your actions and ask questions if you're not sure. Finally, to answer number 3, the correct answer is to take a more holistic approach. Being a cybersecurity analyst requires more than just technical skills. You also need to be able to work with people from different backgrounds and departments. This means taking a more holistic approach to projects and considering the needs of all stakeholders. To prepare for a career as a cybersecurity analyst, I recommend getting a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity or a related field. You should also consider getting certifications like CompTIA Security Plus or Certified Ethical Hacker. All right, well, that wraps up our first episode of Career Path. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to follow my channel for more videos like this. Also, if you'd like to recommend a job or a career that you'd like us to cover in a future episode, make sure to comment below. We'll pick the top 3 most requested jobs and put them on our backlog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.